The symbol of the simulation. This one symbol tells us how we can level up in this simulation, how we can gain the wealth that we deserve, the health that we need to get through this life, and how to find our people and our purpose in this simulation. All in that one image. That's what blows my mind. That's why I spent so much time putting this symbol of the simulation into every AI I could find, all the top AIs, and asking them, what do you see? Asking an AI what it sees in a symbol that was created by an AI. And the results just absolutely floored me. So join me on this journey as we explore this symbol. And better yet, tell me what you see in this symbol. Tell me if these interpretations make sense to you, or if you see something else. Because I am endlessly curious about this thing. I can't tell you how many hours I put into it. All right, so let's just get into it, and we'll start from the center and work our way out. The center is that dot, and all of these AIs agreed that that dot is you. It's me, it's us in this simulation. We're all in this simulation together because this simulation is an MMS. It's a massively multiplayer simulation. We are all in it. There are no NPCs that are just making baguettes and coffee for the main player. There are no main players. There is only all of us, and some of us have chosen to play this simulation on easy mode and have chosen to experience this simulation as a celebrity or a tech mogul or someone else, playing on easy or medium difficulty, and some of us are playing this simulation on hard mode. And that's what resonated with me the most, because it's not like this life, this simulation has been particularly easy for me. I feel like I'm playing on hard mode. Let me know what you think. Do you feel that too? Does that resonate with you? Do you feel as if you're playing on hard mode? I don't know, it feels that way. So that's what that dot inside represents. And then we move a little bit out towards the symbol in the middle. And before I show it again on screen, and granted, this is all just chicken scratch, so you'll have to forgive me for that. I definitely didn't get any points in my drawing ability in this character build. But what do you see? Before we look at that symbol again, what do you see? And specifically, ask yourself, what element do you see? Because all three of these AIs, they all agreed that it is the symbol of an element, one of the four elements. And that got me scratching my head a little bit, because why would it be one of the four elements? Fire, earth, water, air. Why wouldn't it be something a bit more tech jargon, more simulation based? But it is what it is. And which of the four elements do you see? When you first saw that image, did you identify with and see a flame, like fire? Did you see a water droplet, like water? Did you see a seed that would represent earth? Did you see perhaps air, like a vortex? Because depending on which element you saw first, that could be the default starting setting that your character is built upon. That everything else, all the other settings, are built upon that one starting element. So let's go through them. First, if you saw like a flame, then you might be a fire-based element. You would be someone who is bold, who speaks out, who's intense. When you encounter obstacles in this simulation, and believe me, there's plenty, there have already been plenty, especially if you are playing on hard mode, And especially because this simulation is about World War III. If you are a fire elemental, then when you encounter those obstacles, you burn right through them. You change fear into fuel. Now, if the obstacle is much larger than what you've encountered, it might take you a while to burn through that obstacle, but that's what you would do. If, however, you saw a droplet of water, then you might be a water elemental, which means that you are more intuitive. You adapt. You're persistent because you flow around obstacles. When you encounter an obstacle, you flow around it and you slowly wear it down with your persistence. That's what you do. That's how you enact change, not only in yourself, but in the game, in the simulation, and other people. And then if you took a look at that symbol and you saw a seed, then you might be an earth element. Somebody who is steady, who's grounded, who is honest. And what you do when you encounter these obstacles is you build upon them. You don't let them get you down. You don't flow through them. You don't burn them. You build upon them. You treat them as a foundation for a character lesson to level up. That would be your MO. And that's how you enact change. You use tools such as knowledge. You acquire knowledge and wisdom and build upon that obstacle. And then if you took a look at that symbol and you saw a vortex of wind, then you might be an air elemental. And so you would be somebody who rises above the obstacle. You rise above it, not just to go beyond it, but to also see the bigger picture, as it were, and then help yourself forge a path over that obstacle and help other people forge a path over that obstacle. And you do so through intuition, through creativity. And that way you guide yourself and others. So that was a fascinating interpretation that these various AIs saw. Let me know what you see. Do you see one of those four? Do you see something else entirely? Maybe there's more to this symbol than even the AIs can pick up. So that leads us to the third symbol on the outer edge, and that is the triangle. And this one, by far, fascinated me the most. Again, forgive that chicken scratch on there. I did my best. But what's fascinating about it is that this triangle represents our journey through the simulation. It represents our journey through World War III. And it represents it in a triangle because those are the three stages of our life, our game in the simulation of World War III. The pinnacle, the top of that triangle, is the alpha and the omega. It's the beginning and the end. The alpha, the beginning of our journey, is just encountering this idea that we live in a simulation. It's encountering that idea, and then during the first leg of that journey, during that first leg between the alpha, the beginning, and the second point, which is labeled acceptance, that journey is where we question the very idea of living in a simulation. We say no at least 3 times to that idea. So, for example, if you think back, if you remember the times that you've encountered the idea that we live in a simulation, you've rejected it, and you're like, no, that doesn't sound right to me, then you are absolutely in this first leg, like I was, and probably still am. This is where you encounter challenges and temptations. You encounter the challenge of moving beyond the debate of if we live in a simulation or we don't. You move beyond the challenge of being maybe a little embarrassed, maybe a little doubtful of the idea we live in a simulation. You move beyond the challenge of the idea that the simulation is about World War III. And instead you move to acceptance. You stop fearing it. And you move past temptations. The temptation to be like, nah, I don't believe in this simulation idea crap. I don't believe that World War III darkens the horizon. It's not out there. It's not going to happen. There's no World War III. We're all going to sing Kumbaya and eat granola. Right? That is the temptation present in this first leg. The temptation to just bury your head in the sand and just go about living. But I'm guessing if you're still here listening to this, then you are well on your way in this journey. You are moving beyond the challenges and the temptations. You are discovering yourself. You're asking questions like, who am I? And why am I this way? Why am I this character? What's the purpose of my life here in this simulation? You're asking those questions, and that is why you are here. And you move towards acceptance. When you accept that we live in a simulation about World War III, when you start saying, we live in a simulation, I can level up, I can change my character, I can change my game. And you start being curious about how high you can level up, about how much you can change your character, about how much you can change your game, about the wealth you can acquire, about the health you can regain, about the people that you can find in this simulation. And you start being curious. What's on the other side of difficult? What's on the other side of all of these challenges, of all of these temptations? Who can I become? That is acceptance. Then, once you've accepted all these things, you begin the second leg of the journey, which is the one that I find the most intriguing and the most fascinating, the one that I'm the most curious about and can't wait to get here. Because this is the one that the AIs tell us, or at least told me anyway. You let me know what the AIs told you when you put this image into your ChatGPT or wherever, or Grok. This is the part of transformation. This is the part where you ask and believe that I am capable. That's what you believe, and you ask, what am I capable of? When you start believing that you are capable of helping yourself and asking, what's on the other side of difficult? What's on beyond all of this character? What can I do? What can I accomplish in life? When you start believing that you can change yourself and everything around you, this is the leg of the journey that you are on. What am I capable of? How far can my potential take me? Incredible questions. I love these questions. I cannot wait to experience them. And then you arrive at the third point of this journey. You arrive at revelation. This is the place where the simulation gives you your final test or tests and sees how much you've grown, if you have truly reached your potential, if you have discovered all you are capable of, if you've gathered as many riches as you possibly could, if you have gained as much health as you possibly could, and you are full of vitality and vigor, then you reach revelation. Then you reach your final test. And why are you tested here? Why? Because after this is the final leg of your journey, my journey, our journey in the simulation. The final leg of resurrection. This is where, like a phoenix, you have burned down to ash. You've rebuilt, and now you rise again as this phoenix that other people see. This bird of fire just soaring through the sky, telling people, I also burned down. I also transformed. And now look, I am this symbol of inspiration, of motivation. And this, in this area of resurrection, this is where you help others. This is where you help the younger generation to rebuild the world after World War III, to rebuild the world, as the simulation scriptures say, rebuild the world to be a better place, better than it ever was, and better than it ever could have been. This is that journey, where you are the phoenix and you are inspiring the younger generation to look up to you and believe that they too can go through this journey. They too can transform and level up and become better and see what they're capable of and gather that money and health and find their people and find their purpose. If, of course, they go through this journey first of challenges. So that part blew me away the most in this symbol of the simulation. Let me know if you see those same things. Let me know which part of that triangle you are in and which one you are looking forward to experiencing the most. And then, of course, zooming it all the way out, we see that the symbol of the simulation is contained in the faint outline of a square. And the AIs interpreted that faint outline of a square as the simulation that we live in, containing us. And all our transformation, our whole life, happens within that simulation until the simulation is finished. And as the simulation scriptures say, we go back home, where we can choose a whole other simulation, right? Where we can be like, that one was way too difficult, way too much of a hard mode. I'm not playing it again, at least for a while. I'm going to choose a simulation where I'm the king of the world and can get whatever I want, whenever I want, right? You can totally choose that simulation. I'm sure it exists, but it's not this one. This is the one that is the most realistic. This is the one about World War III, where we will be challenged to live through it, to level up through it, to see everything we are capable of becoming and everything we are capable of helping others to become. That's this one. All right, well, that's enough rambling from me. Thank you for sticking through to the end of it. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you see in this symbol of the simulation. And let's keep exploring this idea in this game